Let's talk about C.Viper. What do you think so far? And I'll answer some of the really common questions that I get in the chat as well. I guess the first big one is if you're someone who enjoys Street Fighter 4 and you're a big C.Viper fan and you want to come back to Street Fighter 6 or you want to check out Street Fighter 6 now, are you going to enjoy the C.Viper in this game? And I can confidently say yes, because C.Viper in Street Fighter 6 is probably one of the most faithful characters design-wise that Capcom has brought back. Thinking about it now, I'm not too surprised about it because, you know, C.Viper is already a really unique character. But a lot of people were really worried. They're like, oh my god, you know, Capcom's gonna dumb her down. They took away Sagat's little tiger shot. You know, they're gonna make things super easy. She's just not gonna be the same. But she definitely feels the same. She has all of her returning moves, like all of her burn kicks are back, the seismos are back, the different thunder knuckles are back, and even then it's still even more, right? Like they gave her even her focus from Street Fighter 4, and that's really cool. That has its own application. And of course, you know, the high execution stuff with the feints and the super jumps and the super jump cancels. They even added some stuff for her, and surprisingly I feel like she fits in Street Fighter 6 really, really well. C.Viper was actually one of the most requested characters, at least from what I've seen people request to be in this game. She was on the top 5 of my list as well for her to return to Street Fighter 6. And it's kind of funny, man, because, you know, Grace Hill and World Tour, C.Viper looks like Capcom decided to put her in the game since the beginning. So she was always planned to be here because, you know, she's an NPC in World Tour. So on top of that too, like with people worried about Capcom dumbing her down and stuff, or reworking her like Ed or something like that, or like I said, some returning characters like Sagat or even Elena recently, C.Viper is just kind of this character that's already super unique to begin with. There's no reason to change her. Even in Street Fighter 4, she's a very original character. Like when people like ask me like what kind of character is she, she's kind of like a really tricky execution technical character, but her archetype is kind of not the same. Like you could say Rushdown, but she's not like Kimberly Rushdown or Cammy Rushdown, you know? She's technical, but she's not really like a stance character like, you know, Gen or Vega or Chun-Li. She's just really kind of just her own character. She always has been, and that's why she's just a really great addition, and the reason why Capcom didn't have to change her at all. But I don't know if there's anyone else in the chat that's like a huge fan of her from Street Fighter 4. Most people are really happy with her design. I think Capcom nailed it really, really well. I've barely seen any complaints, at least on my side. I think if you're a huge fan of C.Viper from Street Fighter 4 and you weren't really feeling Street Fighter 6, I think you'll really like her design in this game. I think it's really, really good. Okay, so the next big question, of course, is how hard is she execution-wise compared to Street Fighter 4? You know, is she still a really tough character? And I can tell you, like, right now, I think C.Viper is the most difficult character in this game. Like, right away. Definitely. The only other, like, big difficult characters in this game, you could argue Ed and Chun-Li in Street Fighter 6. But right now, I think C.Viper is easily the most difficult technical character compared to the rest of the roster. So I know a lot of people are gonna bring up the feint cancels. So yes, they did make the feints easier. So before in Street Fighter 4, when you did a special move, you had to input 2 punches really fast. So you do this, you have to press 2 punches. But I can't do it in this. In this game, in Street Fighter 6, you have to press any kick button. So they streamlined it, and over the course of a couple of days now, there's been more and more discoveries of easier shortcuts to make feints easier for everyone. So now we found out you can just hold down the kick button and it'll feint automatically for you on the seismo and the thunder knuckle. You can press the strength of the special and kick at the same time to get a feint as well, and it makes the feint cancels much easier to do. On the other side, Street Fighter 4 C.Viper, a lot of people are like, man, there's 1 frame links in Street Fighter 4, you know? But C.Viper was never a character that's doing like much plinking. You don't really do links with C.Viper. Like, yeah, you might have like a standing medium punch, crouching medium punch here and there, but for the most part, C.Viper is like a high APM, like canceling character, like bam, 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 you know? You're pressing a lot of buttons really fast, constantly. You're just getting a workout. You're not really doing like plinking with her. So that, you know, doesn't matter in Street Fighter 6, obviously, right? Because we got a buffer now for our links. But I think one part of C.Viper, even though the feints are easier than Street Fighter 4, I think the super jump canceling in Street Fighter 6 might be harder than Street Fighter 4, because now they made a lot of her buttons not special cancelable, and you need to super jump cancel to do a lot of her combo stuff now. So now she's got, like, you gotta do super jump cancel, standing medium kick, and crouching medium kick as well. And this is not easy to do. There are some small little shortcut things, but nothing that's gonna make it super easy. Like, this stuff is still really, really hard with her. And she has to do this all the time. Like, in high level play C.Viper, you gotta super jump cancel all the time. So, like I said, the feints are easier, but there's still a rhythm to it. Like this, you will still drop this. Still requires practice, even with the easier method. But the super jump cancel, I think, makes it harder too. So overall, I think the design of her is really good, because now with the easier feints, you can play C.Viper on all different types of controllers. I know there were some pad players for C.Viper in Street Fighter 4, but now, like, every controller can use her well. So leverless keyboard, pad, joystick, whatever, everyone can, like, play C.Viper well now. So that's nice. And on top of that, a lot of her tricks have to do with negative edge. So that's like holding down a button, but you don't need the negative edge enabled, which I think is pretty cool. So I have button release off. So even with your negative edge off, I was kind of wondering how Capcom was going to deal with this when they started releasing some of these characters that use negative edge, like, I don't know, like Cody Zonk or Balrog Tap, or even if they release Minot in the future where her V-trigger had to do with negative edge. It seems like they just programmed it in a way where I can still use negative edge, and it still works for her combos. You don't have to enable it if you don't want to use negative edge. So that's really, really convenient. So I would say, like, once again, if you're someone who thinks that just knowing about the feints of C.Viper, thinking she's going to be like a super easy version of Street Fighter 4, that's not the case. The super jump cancel stuff is going to take a lot of time and efforts, and there's a lot of people speaking out about it, like, man, this character requires a lot of effort while everyone else is just dry rush and crouch me kick dry rush, right? There's another layer I want to add to this too, is that there's a lot more layers with her meter management, because now her super jump costs a bar. You want to definitely get into her level 1 in a lot of cases, so you can go ham. And when do you want to burn your specials and burn your burn kicks? So there's a lot more depth with her meter management. Definitely the most difficult character, technical character, and execution-wise, easily the hardest. Like I said, there has been stuff before, like Ed's level 2, for example, and some Chun-Li stuff, especially with, like, hybrid charge characters. But overall, in terms of how clean your inputs have to be, your timing has to be, the meter management, C.Viper is really hard. Really, really faithful. All right, next most common question, Vesper. How strong is C.Viper? Where is she on the tier list? Guys, I'm not even kidding. When I first played this character, when she was, like, first released, when the servers went down, and I was checking out the frame data on her buttons, somebody asked me in the chat, Vesper, is C.Viper top tier? Within a few seconds. So what do you guys think? How strong is C.Viper? We ask this question every time a new character comes out. I gotta say though, like, looking at, like, Twitter and what pros are saying and stuff, I honestly haven't seen that much dooming at all. I really haven't. Usually when a new character comes out, the dooming begins around today. I'd say 2-3 days in, we go through the honeymoon phase, and then the dooming phase starts up right away. And there hasn't been much dooming at all, honestly. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people say, wow, she's tough to play. Is it going to be worth the effort? But I haven't seen, like, huge dooming, like, oh, you know, she lacks this, lacks that kind of thing. I think her damage output is really, really high. Like, I think when you land your combos, it does, like, a high amount of damage output. Like, when you land this Seismo, there's so many options to meter burn stuff. It's really good, and when you land her Seismo, it combos into all of her supers, level 1, level 2, level 3. You can, like, man, even here, like, doing heavy kick into level 1. Let's see here, like, that does a boatload. Remember, we're fighting Zangief right now. If she gets, like, a fat whiff punish on you, like, if the opponent presses a button and you get, like, a punish counter with her, it's like, holy cow, the damage output is crazy. Pretty much the party starter is her landing that Seismo, and you have many, many, many options. So she's quite rewarding, and she has many ways to knock you down. The Seismo is so threatening. She doesn't have to worry about a lot of things. Like, even almost full screen away, C.Viper is threatening. Just because of the Seismo. Like, you know, Capcom made Seismo hit low and cause a knockdown that gives me 2 forward dashes and I'm still plus 11. C.Viper is gonna be the kind of character where you don't want her to just kind of run around free, you know, like you can't just sit still and play super slow. If you let her move around, she's so mobile and can skip neutral on you pretty fast in force plus frames. And with the Seismo low, she can chip you down. She's just very, very threatening. She's just someone you have to... She kind of dictates the pace. You have to go after her. Also, her anti-air is much stronger than I thought it would be. This, I thought would have, like... This is frame 1 air invincible. So, as long as you get this out, it's going to hit the opponent. It's not like Rashid, where he doesn't have frame 1 invincibility. So, I guess they thought maybe Rashid, because it hits on both sides, it would have, like, a bigger weakness. But yeah, this is really reliable. And her standing heavy kick is really good too for different reasons. Because this is cancelable and you can super jump cancel this into like different things. And even get like level 3 off of this. But weakness wise, she doesn't have a reversal besides her supers. At least her level 1 is invincible for Elena. Her level 2 as well, and of course her level 3. Her armor move, this doesn't start up in frame 1. This is not armor frame 1, and neither is the OD. The OD is like 3, I think. But she does have some stuff where she can do wake up burn kick, and that should beat somebody's throw, and then you can side switch that way. So she has some stuff she can do to deal with throw loops. But defensively, when she's knocked down, she doesn't have many options, and that's definitely by design. Like I said, I haven't seen too many people use her focus attack too much, but it's not bad in the corner actually. Like if you're burnt out, it's an option to deal like DI, for example. If you have no meter anymore. So she has some unique stuff about her. I would say another weakness about her is she's pretty meter hungry. If you land one fat hit and you want to like go full meter dump and super jump cancel and then meter dump this, you know, you'll notice yourself burning through bar really quickly. Like even if you can do the fancy stuff, going like crouching medium kick into the OD Seismo, into the super jump, burning kick will take like 4 bars. You know, so that's quite a bit. So the big question is the juice worth the squeeze, right? Is C.Viper too hard to play compared to something that's brain dead? You know, like the OD fan, the OD Psycho Crusher, drive rush, crouching medium kick, drive rush jab. Is it going to be worth it to master this kind of character in a game where there's much easier, powerful things to abuse? I personally think what's gonna like really decide if C.Viper is gonna be truly top tier is obviously her matchups. And it's not just like having a favorable amount of good matchups. It's more about how is she gonna do against really popular, powerful tournament characters. So how good is C.Viper gonna do against Mai? How good is C.Viper gonna do against Ed and Akuma? Like those characters are really important. Characters that are like grapplers and stuff, you know, she can zone with Seismo, but how is her Seismo gonna do against Akuma's fireball toe to toe? Is burn kick going over Mai's fan, right? Or going under her fan? Is she gonna be able to deal with the OD fan good enough? And is C.Viper gonna be able to deal with Ed's devastating buttons? Those matchups are really what's gonna show us like her C.Viper's potential. And her kit seems well-rounded enough that she can deal with other zoners. Like, you know, Guile throwing Sonic Boom. Seismo is a threat to everyone because it's a meterless knockdown fireball that spawns at their feet. It is susceptible to jumps for sure. But because Viper has feints, you know, it's another layer where you're going to second-guess yourself on when to jump. And then she'll get a knockdown with a really good anti-air and start her pressure from there. Personally, if I were to guess right now, I do think C.Viper is strong enough to be top tier. I think she's stronger than Sagat already, and definitely more stronger than Elena. I can see her potential right now, but I definitely also acknowledge that she's tough to play. It's definitely going to take some time, and we really need to see how those matchups develop, those 3 matchups I just discussed. The thing about Viper, though, is that I think she's super fun to play, super faithful to her design in Street Fighter 4, and she's super fun to watch. Like, watching other people play C.Viper, it's really sick. So, I really hope we see her in tournaments. Honestly, I think she's one of the best additions to Street Fighter 6. In fact, man, I kind of wish C.Viper came out a little earlier. She's perfect for this game. She fits super well, and a lot of people have been saying that like they like the additions of Elena and Sagat because they are kind of out of the norm, not just the same old crouching minion kick drive rush characters. But C.Viper, you know, it's like she already was a character that was outside the norm, and they were faithful to her. So hopefully she's strong enough that we see her in tournaments. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I think they did an amazing job with her, and figure out a way that makes her playable on every controller type, but at the same time also add things that might be more difficult than even the Street Fighter 4, and stay faithful to the fact that she will be one of the hardest, most technical characters in the game. So we'll see how she develops. This is an early review of her, and maybe we'll revisit it when the majors start up again, and we'll see who picks her up. But I definitely don't think someone's going to have C.Viper as a side character. I think she's going to be more of a character of a specialist, and I don't think you're going to pick C.Viper for like an easy dub. There's no way. This character definitely requires some dedication.